You found yourself on another episode of Locked On Bulls. The Orlando Magic apparently have some serious interest in Zach LaVine. Me and Pat are going to break that down. Plus, we now know what the Bulls offer. Their max offer may be to Patrick Williams. Is it a fair offer, or do we think that the Bulls may be shortchanging Pat a little bit? We'll talk about that as well. And the Bulls are prepared to extend Alex Caruso, which would be one of the smartest things they've done, regardless if they plan on trading him for or not. We'll talk about why on today's episode of Locked On Bulls.
You are Locked On Bulls, your daily Chicago Bulls podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Thank you for tuning in to Locked On Bulls, member of the Locked On Podcast Network, where it's your team every single day. That's Pat, the designer, host and creator of the Windy City Breeze, and host of the Chicago Bears podcast over at ESPN 1000. I'm Haize, host creator of Chicago Bulls Central and Chicago Bears Central YouTube pages and podcasts. And today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Make every moment more. Right now, new customers get $150 in bonus bets with any winning $5 bet. That's $150 with any winning $5 bet. Visit FanDuel.com/lockedon to get started. Pat, another day, another rumor around this, the Chicago Bulls. Actually, the floodgates kind of opened last night. It was kind of like everybody decided to wake up around 7 p.m. yesterday and say, bet all of our Bulls sources and news that we got, let's go ahead and leak it. It's like it was a planned attack. They Kendrick Lamar'd the Chicago Bulls with news last night is what they did. But we heard that the Magic do have some serious interest in Zach LaVine, and this is built around the fact that they were top I think 7 in defensive efficiency, but they were 24th in offensive efficiency. So it seems like the Magic are really focused on finding some offensive firepower for their team. Now, Zach LaVine is not their top target. They did mention some other targets that the Orlando Magic could have, but there is some interest there when it comes to Zach LaVine. We talked a little bit about the Magic being a potential partner for Zach LaVine yesterday, just kind of tangentially. It was before this report actually came out. But what do you make of the fact that it seems like the Magic do have some serious interest in the Zach LaVine trade?
I mean, we talked about it the other day, right? It makes sense as far as them having the amount of cap space that they do. I don't think that Zach LaVine is their first target by any stretch of the imagination. I think that they'll probably look for some other names that may end up being some cheaper names that come along as well. But Zach LaVine to the Magic does make sense in the situation of, I'm willing to pay you the money because I have the cap space to do it. And I already have the young players that are going to be ahead of you in the pecking order on the team. So you got to come in and just fit in, get in where you fit in. And so until they get their contracts, you're still good here. I think that they could kind of do something like that when you see a guy like Paolo already being the lead guy there. And as you start to go through, okay, Franz Wagner's your number 2. Zach LaVine is a heck of a number 3 on that team.
If you have Zach LaVine as a number 3, you're doing some pretty good things.
You're doing some good things. And I think that may be why the Magic want to attack this. It would be interesting to see how they would get a trade done for this, how much the Bulls would want to take back. Would the Magic be more willing to part with draft capital over players? I actually was messing around with Fanspo when I saw this the other night, and because I figured we were going to be talking about this. I still got it pulled up. But it says this would be successful. Mo Wagner, their 2024 second round pick, and that 2025 first round pick via Denver, which is top 5 protected, which basically means you get a second first round pick in there for Zach LaVine. I'd be okay with something like that because the Bulls are clearing money off of the books, but you're getting draft capital back. Or you go the player route. You get a bunch of contracts to match Zach LaVine's. I mean, there's a ton of young players on this team that basically the Magic have said, we don't know what to do with all y'all. Y'all can't all play at once.
Well, the thing that could make this interesting is that they can get up to $25 million in cap space, which they can absorb a large portion of that. But I mean, if they do want to trade like a Mo Wagner, because he does have a team option, they'd have to pick up the team option and then trade him, which they can do. I'm not mad at a Mo Wagner coming to the Chicago Bulls. The thing that I want to ask you, if you are the Chicago Bulls, and I know this is a weaker draft, don't get me wrong, but we've already talked about how a lot of the center prospects in this draft are going to go later than 11. Is the number 18th overall pick in this draft, is that a non-starter if that's not involved in the deal? Or do you think there's enough they can entice you with, even if they're not included in the number 18th overall.
The problem is they want Zach LaVine, and there's not a lot of teams that can say that. So you're not in a position of power to go, there's a non-starter right here if you don't give us the 18th overall pick. No team is going to just say, we're just going to give you the 18th overall pick, right? I would love to have that 18th overall pick. I think you get a couple of solid role players in this draft, maybe address a couple of nice positions for Zach LaVine trade. If you get Mo Wagner back, I've said this many times, I like Mo Wagner. I think he could be a starting big in this NBA. He's not his brother, but he's talented enough to start on a team. If you feel like Mo Wagner gives you that same level of impact as a role-playing big that you would get out of the draft, maybe then at 18 you can address a different position. Maybe there's a Terrence Shannon Jr. Maybe, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not...
Mo Wagner's about to be 28. And while that's not old by any stretch of the imagination, do you really want to... I mean, I guess technically kind of fits the same timeline as Kobe and Io, who are a little bit older, 23 and 24. But I still think that the Bulls probably want to go get a young center in this draft if they have one on their board that they really like. If they look at all the centers and, hey, we're not impressed, then maybe they do go a different position, as you said.
Yeah, and I think that's the thing, right? It all comes down to how they evaluate it and how they break it down. But there's a lot of options with the Magic that I do think makes this trade intriguing if they were to go after Zach LaVine, and it just I don't know why the Magic would part with the 18th overall pick unless they're just like, we don't like none of these mugs in the draft either.
It seems like they're trying to compete now, though. I mean, you got to look at it. They were what in the East, top 5 in the East as far as record this year, if I'm not mistaken. I may be giving them a little.
Yeah, you might be right. Yeah, they were top 5.
So I think that they could be. And again, I don't follow the Magic in and out, so I'm not going to act like I can intelligently talk about all the Magic's motivations. But if they're looking to make a move to compete now, they may look at that, especially in a weaker draft, and say, hey, we're not really going to get players in this draft that maybe can help us win now. Maybe they're then more apt, instead of giving up like a Jonathan Isaac who can defensively help them now, they're looking at it and saying, no, we'll rather keep what we have and what we know, add to that, and then this unknown entity in the 18th overall pick. Maybe we can send that out.
I hear you on that, but if the Bulls pick up the phone and say, we're not starting the deal without the 18th overall pick, I say, y'all have a blessed day. I hang up the phone and I call another team that's looking for first round draft capital, because draft capital you're always going to be able to move.
Yeah, that's true.
Right? Like that's my thing. So like I would be willing to bet that maybe they give the Bulls. I do think they're looking to compete now, and I think that there's more of a not
looking about the Magic. They own all their first round picks between now and 2030. It must be nice.
It must be nice. But I think the thing about the Magic is that when you're talking about, okay, we're going to compete now, like I said, I'll offer you give me Zach LaVine, I'll give you Mo Wagner a second round and a first round next year. You get Denver's first round pick, which is top 5 protected. They're not going to be in the top 5. So basically you get two first round picks next year. You have a blessed day. Then I'm calling another team and saying, I got the 18th overall pick and maybe Jonathan Isaac, maybe something else. They got a lot of redundancy there. Maybe Wendell Carter Jr. And I say,
hey, looking to move Wendell.
Everybody's looking to move Wendell. The team that's about to acquire Wendell is already looking to move Wendell. But maybe, you get that in.
So we're going to get him, right? And then we're going to trade him. That's the...
But I think you hold on to that 18th overall pick and see if you can add another player in that maybe is more of an impact player as well. I think the Magic have so many options right now that they can flip because of the youth on their roster, because of the redundancy of so many positions on their roster. I think that they could flip a couple of trades this offseason, and I think they want to hold on to that 18th overall pick for a trade that probably doesn't include Zach LaVine.
I mean, we'll see. I mean, if they're trying to make a move, you only have so much flipping you want to do on a roster. You want to keep some type of continuity there. But, I mean, you definitely can see players that could be salary cap filler. Joe Ingles is definitely one on there. If they do look to move on from Wendell, maybe they are looking to keep Mo too. Like, there's a lot of different options that they have. I don't think they were impressed with Anthony Black last season either, their rookie from last year. So They got some assets. They aren't in the position like the Thunder, who literally, if the Thunder wanted somebody, they can outbid any and every team possibly in the NBA. But they're close to it as far as just because they do own all their first round picks outright. So.
Yeah, no, a lot of options for the Magic, and I think if they make some changes this offseason, they're a dangerous team, man. I'm gonna say this: if you get a healthy year of Zach LaVine post trade on the Orlando Magic, that's a dangerous team, bro.
And a healthy Zach LaVine playing with Apollo Banchero, who is turning into such an offensive juggernaut. Like as much as DeMar's been great for the Bulls, LaVine's not played with a player that has the kind of scoring gravity of a Apollo Banchero, and so you're looking at that with what already they do well defensively. Like we said, and the problem that the Bulls had with Zach isn't that Zach's a bad player. I hate that the conversation's gone out and people act like Zach's terrible. He's not. But it's that the fact that the Bulls had to build around him as a 1 or a 1A, 1B, however you look at it. Yeah. And it's clear now that he's probably better as a 2. And if you are in a position to have him as your 3rd, you're pretty damn good offensively at that point.
And I'll say one thing to watch out for as well. I'm not saying that he is him. But when you watch Paolo, like Paolo brought the ball up the court a lot last year. When you see him setting up the offense, I'm just like, am I the only one seeing LeBron in this right now?
Hey, bro, when Paolo's rookie year, I was like, he's cool, but like, he has a lot to work on. Last year, though, Paolo, especially towards the end of the season, y'all better watch out for Apollo Banchero in the Eastern Conference is all I can say. But one of the things that
we gotta watch for.
We gotta watch out. We helped build that team as well. You're welcome. But next we're gonna be talking about the Bulls and the offer that they're prepared to make for Patrick Williams. Before we do that, we gotta talk to you guys about one of our sponsors, and that is FanDuel. It's winner take all time in the NBA and NHL, and FanDuel is giving you a shot to bring home a big win of your own. Right now, new customers get $150 in bonus bets with any winning $5 bet. You can bet on the NBA Finals, which is coming around soon. We now know that's going to be the Boston Celtics versus the Dallas Mavericks. Man, I was really hoping the Wolves were going to be able to make, not after they went down 3-0. We all knew the writing was on the wall there. But that's $150 to bet on spreads, money lines, player props, and more. Visit FanDuel.com/lockedon and make every playoff shot count. FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. All right, Pat. So we've been wondering what the Bulls are going to do with Patrick Williams. And, there's a lot of speculation. There was speculation at one point during the season that Patrick Williams could have wanted a salary upwards of $20 million, which is near the max that the Bulls could offer him. Injuries, disappointing season again yet for Pat. Me and you've talked about that they could kind of try to keep him more around Kobe White type money. And it seems like that may be where the Bulls are focused at. So an article came out yesterday. This one came from Bleacher Report that the Bulls, that they're willing to offer Patrick Williams a contract upwards of 4 years, $50 million. And while that $50 million number may sound like a lot, it's really $12.5 million per. That's Kobe White type money. How do you feel about that offer, Pat?
I feel like you're being disrespectful to the dudes who offered Kobe White and Nacho DeSumo, 2 guys that gave you much more production the year before. I agree. It's not a lot of money, but we can't sit here and talk about Patrick Williams like he's on the same level as the 2 guys.
He's not. Yeah.
What is it, effectively $10 million 2 per basically for their contract? It's like 11, something like that. How Kobe's breakdown, whatever it is. But there's no way you offering Patrick Williams more money than that. I'm sorry. This is a production-based business. I understand P. Will is your guy, and he's the guy that you want to keep here and you want to build around and you want to figure it out and you think that he's going to have this ascension, which maybe he is. But I'll tell you what Patrick Williams is right now based on the 4 seasons that he's been in the NBA. He's the same player. He's a 10-point per game player who can shoot the 3 ball, who is inconsistent, who doesn't rebound, even though you have him playing the power forward position, and who gives you nothing in the assist game, and he barely averages a steal a game.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is that this is definitely paying Patrick Williams still for the potential that they still see in Pat, and I get it at 22 years old. In that same article, it did mention that the Bulls are a little bit concerned that a team like the Pistons, like the Magic, could come in and offer Patrick Williams money that the Bulls can't match or aren't willing to match, whatever the difference is between that. And those are teams that could be looking at the upside of Pat, especially if the Pistons decide to do it and they just say, hey, we're just trying to get something to stick to the wall. Like, it doesn't matter. That'd be the most Pistons type signing. Like, could you imagine the Pistons offering Patrick Williams like an $18 million contract? I'd literally look at that and be like, it sucks, because I still do like Pat. I know I like Pat more than you do, but it's like at $18 million, I'm like, all right, thanks, Pat, for your time. We appreciate you. Thank you very much. We just drafted Cody Williams, so you're good on that one. Peace out.
Listen, bro. If the Magic or the Pistons come in and want to offer Patrick Williams real money,
I love that you can't help but just laugh.
I couldn't even get through the bro. Why would anybody offer Patrick Williams any more than what the Bulls can offer him?
Well, the Pistons, because they're stupid. I mean, they signed a head coach that literally looked at them 3 times and said, "No, I don't want to be here." And then they still gave him the most money for a coach. And then now they're reportedly they could fire him at next year, which is like, yeah, he didn't want to come here. Like
bastard.
Exactly. It's the Pistons, bro. Like, honestly, the Pistons are so far off and they need such a influx of talent. I honestly would not be surprised if the Pistons did. Hell, the Pistons did that for Ben Gordon. You saw how that worked out. He was out the league 2 years later.
Yeah, but Ben Gordon was also coming off a great
playoff run. Ben Gordon averaged 20 points per game. He led the Bulls in scoring.
There was something worth taking a shot on it. And listen, I'm not saying that Pat still can't develop. I'm not saying that if you let Pat go. Here's the thing. If you let Pat go and he turns into the Patrick Williams that you've been hoping that he was going to turn into, I would just sit here and be like, well, of course, you'd had DeMar DeRozan sitting in front of him playing his position for the first 3 years of his career. It makes sense that he blossomed somewhere else. My thing is, with how this Bulls team is right now, the position that you're putting Patrick Williams in, probably in the right position to play him in. And so at this point, he's the player that he's going to be. You know what the Bulls aren't about to change? The position that they're putting Patrick Williams in. So maybe this is more, maybe Pat's getting too much of the hate from me. Maybe this is more of a, I hate.
You know what that is? You know what that is, Pat? That's growth. Look at Pat having growth on this show. Look at that.
Well, I mean, listen, I'm just because here's the thing. Patrick Williams is going to be who he is on this team. The player that you're getting right now is not worth the money that you're about to try and offer him. Patrick Williams going to a different team, getting different opportunity could be a different player. I'm not oblivious to that fact. And so I think that, maybe I should direct more hate toward the Bulls, but I got to spread it out somewhere. Right. But also, passive Pat is a problem. Patrick Williams knows that passive Pat is a problem.
Yeah.
Patrick Williams goes, I got to be more aggressive. And then does it. He's like Braxton Jones with the bull rush. I got to stop the bull rush.
It's different with Braxton Jones and the bull rush, though, because that Braxton Jones I guess it's not very much different because
he knows
Braxton
exactly
Jones
what he needs
literally every time sees the bull rush and says, "Oh no, the bull rush! You know what's coming. It's your one weakness." Like,
bro, listen.
Braxton Jones and the bull rush. It's like if you know that you're lactose intolerant and you're still drinking milkshakes every day.
So black people,
huh?
So black people,
yeah. Black people will be lactose intolerant as hell and look at it and be like, it's worth every bit of it. That ice cream is worth it. And then at the end of the night, when they're sitting there sweating on the toilet, like, hey, you the one who decided to get the ice cream.
I got a 16-pack of Gas 6, always ready to go. Yeah, I'm saying.
So Pat was actually talking about himself.
Oh, you got dang right, bro. I already know what it is. I'll knock down a bowl of cereal. I got a bowl of cereal waiting on me, dog. You know what I'm saying?
That's going to be soggy, bro. Like, I hope it's not waiting on you. I
haven't made the bowl of cereal yet. I'm just.
Oh, okay. I was about to say, I'm a little concerned about you, bro. Got to take care of yourself.
Wild. You know, it's people that rock with cereal like that, bro.
There really is people who literally sit and wait for it to get soggy. And listen, if you enjoy soggy cereal, I don't care what type of cereal it is, you're disgusting. You disgust me. I hate you. If you sit there and you like soggy cereal, especially if you like soggy Fruity Pebbles, you're the devil. You just gotta go. There's no way it is. You can't sit with us. I don't want to be around you.
Bro, I swear I had a homie. He like his cereal soggy, but he would not eat cereal for an uncomfortable amount of time. Like, we would pour the cereal at the same time. It was my best friend growing up. So we would sit there like have cereal in the morning. And I'd be like halfway through and he ain't started. I'd just be like, hey, what's going on over there, man? Like, I need to end this friendship now. Like, what's happening, bro?
You got to do the Kevin Hart what he did to Kai Cenat. Hey, stop. What are you doing?
I swear, I used to just be staring at this man and be like, Yo, the cereal, like after a while, like it make noise when you pour the cereal in, and then after a while it just stop making noise. You be like, hey man, we've been here for a while, bro. You cool.
Please tell me you saw that clip of Kevin Hart with Kai Cenat, and literally like Kai Cenat pulled out the big thing of Vaseline, and Kevin Hart looked at him and said, man, what are you doing? Like,
bro, no, I didn't see that.
I gotta send it to you after this.
Hey, that's a wild thing to have somebody.
That's crazy. That's crazy. Next up, though, we're going to be talking about Alex Caruso and a pending contract extension with the Chicago Bulls, man. Before we get into that, we remind you guys that Locked On Bulls is free and available on every podcasting app platform of your choice, as well as YouTube. Pat, let's go ahead and get into it, man. The Bulls, apparently, as the rumors came out yesterday, the Bulls are looking to extend Alex Caruso before July. And the reason why they're doing it doesn't necessarily mean that they're looking to hold on to him. It's a two-way thing, is that if they do hold on to him, you already got him locked in. If you look to move him, it actually could increase his trade value, as then he's already locked into the contract. They don't view it as something that could hurt his trade value because of the way that he's still able to produce and play. What do you think when you hear that the Bulls are looking to extend Alex Caruso this offseason?
I guess it's just, how much money AC is looking to actually get back, and what type of contract are the Bulls willing to give at the same time. I'm not opposed to AC being here. Do I think that AC is your best way to move on to a future, or to the future? I guess not a future. It ain't gonna be a great one. But do I think that AC is your best way to move on? Yeah, I do, because I think AC is the one player on this team. This is the wildest thing, bro. We've had how many ACs over our history that we never let go because the value was never high enough. Literally, this is ridiculous value that teams are offering for Alex Caruso, because nobody plays defense in the NBA anymore. So they're like, we need this guy on the team. The defensive player of the year got cooked for like 12 games straight, basically. So they're like, we need to have this guy on the team because he plays defense. And the Bulls are like, nah, bro, 2 first rounders ain't enough. What? You know what I mean? So I think that AC gives the Bulls their best opportunity to continue to build something with maybe the younger players that are on this team, maybe add some younger pieces to this team. But if Alex Caruso is here next year, you're never going to hear me complain about it. I love AC. I think that how he improved his game this season in a almost a little Kirk Heinrich-ish, like, bro.
Oh, for sure.
He adjusted his entire game to be like, hey, offensively, like, I got to be useful.
I mean, and to his credit, he's one of the few Bulls players that talked about how they wanted to improve the game and did exactly that. He averaged the most 3-point attempts per in his career, almost 5 3-point attempts, and hit it at a 40% clip.
Yeah.
Like, he over doubled what he did the year prior. So while he's had seasons before shooting 40%, he took 2.5 per game. So like the volume that he started taking them at and hitting them at a good percentage, you can't deny that and what he's brought to this team. And it's good to kind of keep those players around. Don't get me wrong, but like you said, if you're really looking to change, especially if you're looking to get anything as far as recoup any of the first round picks you sent out to build this team, you kind of got to explore that Alex Caruso trade market. But if, like I said, I'm glad that in the article it talked about the fact that it doesn't hurt the trade value. It won't stop them from trading him. If anything, it may actually help because they're going to be locked into more years. So I see it as a win-win for the Bulls. If you lock him in to not team friendly, but a favorable contract, because I do think he's going to get way more than the $9.8 million he's getting paid now. Yeah. That's not a negative if he ends up staying around. If you end up moving that, and you can get in a little bit less protection on one of those picks and moving them because they got them locked in for more years, it's not a negative either in that. So,
yeah, and I mean, listen, at this point, can we say that the Bulls are maybe overvaluing Caruso for the team that they currently have? I think that we can, and you have to explore all options with this because the bottom line is AC's 30.
Yeah,
he's probably going to want to go to a team that wants to win. Because I guess he does have a ring already, but like he probably wants to go to a team that has a chance at winning. He probably wants to compete for something. Nobody wants to be a competitor that sits there and you're competing for the 9th seed in the NBA. You know what I mean? And so I think that you may risk losing AC for nothing anyway. He's 10 points per game. I love the 3-point shooting ability. I love the defense. I think he brings so much to the basketball court. But at 30 years old, how much longer are you going to hold on to a guy who, I mean, listen, there's a lot of career left in him probably, but by the time you're ready to go out there and compete, I don't think that you're 5 or 2 years away. I don't like if you're talking about the Bulls are going to make a Dallas Mavericks jump, they're going to figure it out. First off, we got to get a Luka and or a Kyrie. Then maybe you're there, but I don't even think you can say that about any of the players the Bulls have on this team. I don't think you have one believable star to superstar level player on this team yet. AC doesn't fit in that equation to me.
I mean, I get what you're saying, but you still want some veterans around. I'm not willing to say you just jettison them off just because of where you are, but I'm not also willing to say you have to hold on to them either. It depends on what your offers are. So, I mean, if you're looking to truly improve every aspect of the team, you got to be willing to listen to everything, and that includes Alex Caruso trades. So,
yeah, we'll see, man. I don't know. This is it sucks because you've put yourself in a position where you're gonna have to let players go who would be perfect for a team that actually was competing for something real.
Yeah, and that's what Alex Caruso. And the thing is, too, you got to look at it. The Bulls have technically had Alex Caruso throughout his prime. We signed him when he was 27 years old.
Yep.
We had him through his prime. We weren't able to put anything together to actually compete for something meaningful. So,
Alex Caruso to the Atlanta Hawks. Here we go.
Okay, no, we can't do that. Are we going to actually turn him into the next Heinrich? That's what you're trying to do? You're actually trying to turn him into the next Heinrich. That's crazy.
Might I interest you in some goggles?
He doesn't have the hair. By the way, Kirk Heinrich, who still has a full head of hair. So shout out to Kirk Heinrich. There's gray. He still has a full head of hair.
What's Kirk doing now?
He actually is an assistant coach at a college. It's like a small college at that.
Oh, shout out to Kirk.
Yeah. So
goggles, Kirk Heinrich was the time. We got to get that back.
Yeah, for sure. Any last thoughts, Pat, before we get up out of here, brother?
Nah, I'm good, man. Appreciate y'all tuning in, showing love. Hit that like button, subscribe to the page, leave that 5-star review. Y'all know what to do. Appreciate y'all showing love.
Absolutely. You guys can follow me at CEO Haize. Man, we appreciate you guys for tuning in to another episode of Locked On Bulls. We are free and available on every podcasting app and platform of your choice, as well as YouTube and the Odyssey app. Oh, and on Fire TV as well. For Pat the Designer, this has been Locked On Bulls. We'll see you guys next week. Peace, y'all.
Peace. Kirk Heinrich take some of his hair and give it to Trae Young.